bonjour. This is week 4. I just wanted to start off. Wait, that's 8. 4. I just wanted to start off by saying thank you to all these new people that have started following me and sending me all these inspirational stories about people who've gotten better or how they've gotten better and the things that work for them. And yeah, like, it's been quite. I didn't really expect this much of a good response, especially in these early stages. And like, I've had a few people who are still sick get in contact with me, and a few of them have said like thank you for making the blog and stuff. And I just want to sort of say back, like, you're probably giving me a lot more than I'm giving you, so like thank you even more, because having people tell me that even just listening to the things that I'm doing is helping them feel a little bit more hopeful, like sort of makes me feel a little bit more self-worth, like as if I'm not just in the dark just going through all of these things. Like, there's actually a bit more of a purpose behind it, so it's given me a lot more strength to be able to sort of go through it all. So yeah, thank you, you're cool. So this week I thought I would talk about things that are a little bit more relevant. This week I'm going to talk about how ME has personally affected my life. Number 1 is socially. Now, the social life and the social implications of having ME, what it does. Now, anybody who knows me or knew me when I was 18 or just bumped into me at a party, they'll know what sort of person I was, and they'll know that I just loved life, and that I was normally the sort of person that would be just trying to get everyone together doing stuff like in the party, like, I don't know, like rap battling each other, or building a human pyramid, or I don't know. I just loved life. I'd be the first kid on a dance floor dancing like a twat in a club, or yeah, like, I love social life, and I love socialising, and I love people, and I loved having fun. And so when I first came down with ME, it was tough, because I'd start going out with my friends, because I didn't really know when I first started getting sick. I didn't know anything about ME, so I'd go out and I'd realise that I just felt really, my mind had just switched off. I wouldn't be the same spontaneous person that I was. I would just be sort of living inside my own head a little bit, because I didn't know what was going on. I'd just push through, and I'd force myself to go out, and I'd still be drinking, and I'd still be like, what's going on? But the implications of that would be that I'd get home and I'd just feel so terrible. Like, I just feel so drained and so empty after going out, that like some days I just cry. Like, some days I just like turn my shower on and I just curl up into a ball in the shower and just fucking cry for about an hour, because it was just such a weird feeling and sensation. Like, everything in me was just so depleted. And then, so it just sort of carried on going like that. Like, I'd keep forcing myself out until the point where I was like, I'm just not going to go out anymore, because it's just not worth it. And then because I was in university when I got sick, and so the people that I was living with, like, I'd noticed that they were still going out and they were still bringing people back, and I was quite envious of it all, because I'd gone from this sort of party maniac socialite to just somebody who was a bit of a reclusive loner, and all, like, and in my soul this wasn't who I was, but it was who I had to become. Part of me, the part of me that thinks that it might have been for the best, I don't know, it's the only way you can look at these things, is that it's made me a more rounded person, I guess, and when I'm better I'll have a lot more stability in my life, because I definitely had the potential to go off the rails, because I was definitely very into that rock and roll sort of lifestyle, doing things like waking up in the bath in a stranger's house with no idea how I got there, and lots of strange shenanigans that I got up to when I was a kid. But yeah, I guess it's given me a little bit, because I haven't smoked, drank any alcohol, done any drugs, anything like that in years, and I don't think I ever will either. Actually, I'm pretty sure I never will. And oh man, it's good. Like, it's because with ME you feel like you're completely out of control with your own mind, and so you wake up having good days and bad days and being out of control. So no part of me ever wants to go back to being out of control. So like taking alcohol, drugs, all that stuff, it puts you out of control. But the happiest I ever am now is when I wake up, it's in a good day and I'm in control of my brain and I can choose what to do. And so, if I can live with that control, just over a huge period of time, it's going to be epic, man. I'm looking forward to that. The second thing, this is going to be quite a long video, so I hope you bear with me. Physically, it was really tough to accept the physical limitations that having ME put on you. When I was 15 to I was about 19, like I lived in the gym, like completely. Like I just really wanted to like work on one of those bodies that you see on like a Greek statue. You know what I mean? And but it was just great, like setting goals for myself, being able to reach those goals, being able to better those goals. I mean, like it's definitely my second favourite hobby after music. But when I got sick, I started noticing that the more I pushed myself, the worse I felt. And it's almost like opposite to that gym mentality, because the gym mentality is like saying it's like no pain, no gain. Whereas with ME, it's sort of more like no pain, gain. So it was quite hard to be able to adapt, and I didn't let myself adapt for a long time. Like I knew that it would make me feel like shit, but I was just so like depressed about watching all these years of work that I put into getting a body that I was confident with slowly fading away because of something that was out of my control. Like I just refused to believe that, and used to force myself back in the gym, even though that I'd collapse for about a week afterwards and just have to stay in bed, and then I just get up and do it again. Because it takes you a long time to recover. But I just had, I don't know, I felt like I just didn't want. It was my way of trying to get one up on the illness, which is a bit silly because it's not how you recover. But the third way it's affected my life, which is probably the biggest, is how it's affected my dreams and my ambitions. I feel like if there is such a thing as destiny or anything like that, like I feel like I was put on this earth to make music, and whether or not I'm successful making the music, I don't even care, because like just the joy that I get from singing and writing music and being around musicians and is undescribable. Like there's no words. Like it's like imagine finding the love of your life and realizing that the love of your life is never going to die, and that they're always going to be there for you, and that no matter what you do, you can always, they're everywhere. And when you want to get away from them, it's easy as that. But they're still always there for you. And so with ME, on the days that it made my brain just completely shut down and lose that zest for life and lose that spark that I think everybody has inside of them, that makes them just want to have fun. When it kicked in and I didn't want to sing much anymore, it was quite hard. And around the time that I was getting really sick, it was sort of ironic and a bit of a kick in the face, was also the time that I was meeting up with loads of record labels and doing gigs and having like managers and meeting agents of like people like the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Amy Winehouse, and producing an album, and all these really like my lifelong dreams materialising right in front of me, and just this illness, this like pulling me back away from them all. Like, oh, it was tough, but I like the gym, I just pushed through. So like I'd be in the studio and like I'd excuse myself to go to the bathroom and do something, like I'd throw up blood, and then I'd come back and pretend that nothing had ever happened and just keep on recording the vocals. And I'd do things like I'd be in bed all day, and then I knew I had a gig in the night, so I'd just get up on the stage and I'd just pretend that everything was okay and that I was not going through any of this, and I just put out as much energy as I normally did, which again just made me crash. And like, it got to the point where I was still performing, but I was breaking down on stage. Like, one time I was actually crying mid-song in front of a room, and I think there was quite an important bloke there as well, like some sort of scout who was checking me out to see if I had any potential. And look, I was just on a stage like a blubbering mess, like, because I was just so empty and so drained, and I had to give up. Like, the whole of last year, I only did one gig, like, for the whole thing. Like, I went busking a few times, but I only did one gig, and that's my vitality, man. That's my life source, and it's fucking tough to only do that. Yeah, it's definitely an illness you've got to adapt to. And this has been quite a depressing video, I suppose, but I think for people to be able to understand it and relate to it and not feel so alone, because I bet you everybody else has got a different story about how this will affect their lives. And the hardest things, like mums will be upset because they can't raise their kids properly, or dancers will be upset that they can't go out and dance. And like, I think that's the hardest thing, is like, often with this illness, the things that bring us the most joy are the things that are the most deeply affected. And this is definitely being a longer video than I've done in the past, so if you've gotten to this stage, thank you for bearing with me. I've got a private doctor's appointment at the end of this month, and it's in a place called Breakspear, which is like the cutting edge private hospital for chronic fatigue in the UK. I'm selling music to try and raise money for treatments, because it's going to end up costing like a few £1,000s, and I'm not from a very rich family at all, like, and I can't make money myself, so I'm selling music like it's my way. I don't feel like a charity case with people donating me money. I'd rather feel like I was giving back and earning it, so I recorded 5 songs in my bedroom, which I'm going to be selling. I'll put the link in the description of the YouTube and Facebook blog. Also, for everybody on YouTube, I've got a Facebook. It's facebook.com/me vs me blog. I'll put the link to that in the video as well if anybody wants to go on Facebook and just catch up and chat, and I'm always up for hearing about people's stories and stuff. And yeah, thank you, cheers. I just thought I'd add a quick disclaimer at the end of the video. It just popped into my head while I was cooking soup. The main purpose of these videos is to help people and not to hinder them. So the last thing I want, even though that I spent the past like 10 minutes talking about the negative impacts of ME, the last thing I want is people to go away and then reflect on how depression or bipolar or ME has affected their lives negatively, and then really relive those emotions. Because even though that I just spoke about these things, they're things that I rarely think about. They have their time and place. So if you're telling your story to a doctor or a therapist, then things like sadness and self-pity, they're very useful emotions then, because you can really get into the emotive side of things. But they're just not useful when we're sitting around by ourselves. It's things that we will inevitably go through and experience, because it's quite human to do so, but we get locked in a cycle of doing it quite a lot, where we just feel very upset about ourselves and very sad in our minds. But the most positive, beneficial thing that you can do, and I think the thing that is one of the crucial components of actually fully recovering, is moving away from it. Moving away from self-pity, guilt, doubt, all of those emotions. They're just not useful. They have no use after a certain amount of time. So I want everybody who is feeling like crap, even if you're feeling pretty good, just to close your eyes right now. Now close your eyes. Close them. Okay. And I want you to imagine yourself 2 years into the future. But I want you to imagine yourself with exactly the sort of life you want, and with boundless amounts of energy flowing through you. But get specific with it. So picture yourself in your ideal sort of situation, be it surrounded by your friends or doing the things that you love, or in your dream job or in your dream house. And now magnify all the things that are around you that you love. So have a look at like, can you see the textures, or feel, like, really feel everything and feel the emotions that comes with being this confident, happy person, the best version of yourself you can possibly be, and really just live it. So if I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to imagine sitting in a field at summer, I can see all these blades of grass and I can see them so clearly, and I can feel that summer's breeze, and I can see that I'm sitting on a picnic blanket and I've got loads of my mates around, and there's we're all having a laugh and we're all drinking orange juice, and I can eat chocolate without feeling like crap, and it's brilliant, and I can really properly taste that, and it's a summer sunny day, a few clouds in the sky, and there's a few people kicking the football around. So it's just like, that's just my own. See, look, I'm going off into la la land myself. But if you can find your own just moment that would make you so happy, just try and live that for even just a minute, and then open your eyes and realise that just by doing that you feel a tiny bit lighter. It might be a tiny, tiny fraction, but just that thought process in your mind, even if you didn't feel better, it slightly directed you away from your problems for a second. And I feel like when we're not in our mind living our problems, that's when our bodies can start truly healing. So anyway, thank you very much.